On tonight's episode, we are talking about teams who have built costumes as well as a reveal for Ekko.
And it starts now.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wally for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wally costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin costumes. Welcome to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. My name is Lon Davis.
And I'm Reese Davis.
And we are the co-founders and creative designers for the costumes you see with Walkin Rollin Costumes. This is our annual fundraiser that we try and raise enough funds in order to build costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs and to keep them free of charge to the families. And in doing so, we do offer a mobile donation number that you'll see periodically throughout this episode. And you can just text the code WRC2020VP to the number 707070 to make a donation to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. So let's move on. Let's see. We are going to talk about volunteering and having teams build costumes for kids all around the nation. And you can sign up as a team by going to walkinrollin.org/volunteer. And that will take you to this page where you can see all kinds of information about different types of teams, how teams can help, and a form in order to sign up as a team. You can also use this form to sign up as an individual if you would like to build costumes just on your own. Now, some of the teams that have built costumes for us over the years have been all different kinds of teams. I mean, we have teams like, this is from Olathe Northwest High School. They built this as a class project as part of their STEM program. And this is King Chaz, another costume that they built a different year. And then I believe Moana, this was a great costume they built for a motorized wheelchair. So this little girl got to drive around in her chair. This was from Andover Middle School that built it as a class project for a child that was in a wheelchair in their school. And this is one that was from I believe K-State worked on this one and did it for this little boy who didn't recognize his wheelchair when it was all done. And then we have Sustained Homes built this as a team building project with their employees, built Poe Dameron's X-Wing. And this was done by one of the other high schools, the Blue Valley CAPS program. They've built multiple costumes for us, I believe about 8 costumes over the past 3 or 4 years. So they built this Mickey Mouse one. They've built the pirate ship for Abigail and her whole family dressed up as pirates to go along with her. And they've also built the Power Ranger. And then I believe they also built a Transformer. Yep, Bumblebee. So Blue was there in his wheelchair costume and he got to meet a life-size Bumblebee when he got his wheelchair costume presented to him at Planet Comic-Con. Then we have GBA created this reproduction of an amazing Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium that included a working Jumbotron that played highlights of the Chiefs.
And Patrick
Mahomes. So, that was given to him last year, right before the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl. This was done by a 4-H group that built this costume. They did a great job of making the wings fold straight up so that the child could go through a doorway, but she wanted to go as Amelia Earhart. And so that's the team that helped build the costume and their family along with them. She had a great time with that costume. And then we also have Rockhurst High School that built this Avengers costume. It played music and had sound effects and all kinds of things, and graphics on the side and cannons out the top. So it was a great costume for Moses. And then they also built this ambulance costume. This little boy's school was right across the street from an ambulance bay, and he wanted his wheelchair to match the ambulance that came out of that ambulance bay.
Yep.
And so we worked with the fire department and everyone at that bay to help us reveal the costume to him right there with the actual ambulance.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a lot of fun. We can do all kinds of different groups, teams, schools, anything that you can think of. We've worked with them in order to build costumes for kids, and it's a great way to kind of combine talents and skills from different people. So if you are interested in doing that, just please go to our website at walkinrollin.org/volunteer, and you can get all the information there. Now, next, we want to talk about a testimonial that we have.
Yep.
We have someone who has built an amazing, well, it's a great story about he built a costume for his son and had quite the reaction from that, which then kind of snowballed into someone seeing that on Reddit and connecting down the line to where we started building a similar costume and used his help to complete the costume. So here is Chris Rood.
My story starts back in 2018. Our family was planning to take our son Cohen to Walt Disney World. We finalized May the 4th, Star Wars Day 2019, to be the start of our trip. After we decided on that day, my wife and I began discussing what we could do to make Cohen's visit as special as possible. Cohen is in a wheelchair, so we began brainstorming and finally decided on turning his wheelchair into BB-8. I got to work and spent the next few months creating Cohen's BB-8 chair. Our trip was amazing, and the effort to create a costume for him to roll around in at Disney made our trip extra special. I ended up posting some pictures of him on Reddit. One of the pictures was found and reposted to Twitter, asking if someone could help make a similar BB-8 costume for his cousin's wheelchair. His cousin Evan was going on a Star Wars cruise, and this would be perfect for him. The tweet had some responses mentioning and tagging Walkin Rollin costumes. Lon Davis responded saying he would build the costume for Evan. Lon reached out to me for any information I was willing to provide on how I built my son's BB-8 chair. I finished up the build guide I was working on and sent it over to him. I continued to chat with him over the next few weeks, finding out they had plans to build the costume in a single weekend. Knowing how long I spent making the base domes for the wheels of the chair, I told Lon I would create the base domes for Evan's wheelchair. I got Evan's wheel measurements and began constructing another set of domes. I completed them to the point of being primed, making them slightly larger than we had planned, so they could be trimmed if needed. During the build of Cohen's BB-8 chair, I had created some details that I had cut out in vinyl using my Cricut. I cut out another set of vinyl decals and chipped them along with the domes to Lon to be applied during their build weekend. Lon and a crew of volunteers finished up Evan's BB-8 costume and shipped it to him to get ready for the cruise. Keeping in touch with Evan's mom, she shared what an amazing time Evan had on the cruise. From what I heard, Evan became a bit of a celebrity on the cruise and had people yelling across the ship to say hi or take a picture. I'm so thrilled I had an opportunity to share something I made that brings so much joy to someone else. I intend on continuing to help Walkin Rollin build costumes in the future. I planned to go to the spring 2020 build workshop before it was canceled. I'm looking forward to the time I'll be able to be on site for an upcoming build workshop. If you have an opportunity to participate in a build workshop or even take on a complete build, I highly encourage you to reach out to Lon at Walkin Rollin Costumes. I know without a doubt you will make a lifelong memory for you and for the kid that gets an amazing costume. It truly is life-changing.
Hello, it's Reese with Walkin Rollin Costume, and here's another sneak peek for the costume that we will reveal on episode 10 of the virtual party. And this is a piece that will be a part of the costume. It is made out of foam attached to a blue pipe, and it will attach to a costume, and it will look good in the end, hopefully.
Boy, Reese really knows how to sell the sneak peeks of these costumes. So I don't know if any of you have an idea on what the final costume is going to be, but just in case you need another hint, check around. Later in this episode, we will be doing another sneak peek of the costume. Now, speaking of sneak peeks, we have been talking to Bert. Forgot his name. Bert.
We work with so many people.
We
it's hard
do.
to keep
I'm
track
so
of.
sorry. I keep track of all the kids' names that we build costumes for, but I
Not all the builders. There's too many
not all
of
the
them.
builders. My fault. Sorry. So we're going to talk to Bert. Bert has been working on a costume for his neighbor for the past few nights, and let's see how the status is on his costume. Let's give him a call.
Hey Lon and
Hey,
Reese,
Bert.
just another quick update. I am really happy with the way things are turning out here. I've got this cardboard piece on the wheelchair. I'm off to a really good start, and I'm
Good.
very excited and happy about it. Weather-wise, we've had a lot of rain yesterday, but it's fared up a lot today, and not that bad. So just another quick update for you. Wanted to keep you guys in the loop. Talk to you later.
All right. Well, Bert seemed to be moving along, so hopefully he'll be done by the time we get to the 10th episode, so you can see what he's working on. All right, so let's see. We have, it's time for a reveal. Yeah, it's reveal time, people. So we have a little boy named Ekko who is in a motorized wheelchair, and we had a team that worked on this costume. This is a robotics team from the Blue Valley School District, and it's called the Cobalt Colts. And this is their second costume they have built for us, but they kind of went all out on this one. It's a big costume. So let's check out the story of Ekko's Beyblades costume. Thank you for everyone attending the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. We have a lot of people on the episode tonight. I would like to introduce Glenn Crocker with the FTC Cobalt Colts, and their team worked on a fantastic costume for Ekko, and who will be hopefully joining us soon. So why don't we start with Glenn? Can you give everyone who's watching, tell them about the Cobalt Colts and what it is that you guys do?
Great. So we are a first tech challenge robotics team. All of our kids are from Blue Valley High Schools, but we've got kids from each of the different high schools. So we're a community-based team. And over the summer, we like to engage in outreach projects, and Ekko's costume is a great example of that. We also did a lot of work in healthcare. And this year, because of COVID, it's been kind of complicated to do some of our normal outreach opportunities. The folks at Ronald McDonald House don't really want a dozen robotics kids to show up and infect everyone. And so working remotely has been a great solution, and so working on a costume was awesome.
Great.
This is the second wheelchair costume you have built for us. Tell us a bit about the previous costumes and how Ekko's costume was different.
Yeah. Any of you guys want to talk about the Macy costume?
Macy's costume was our first time doing a costume with Walkin Rollin, so we didn't know as much of what to expect. I think our second costume, we did a much better job at making it fit the wheelchair specifically, rather than just working around it as a whole. It's like, it's incorporated more of the structure of the wheelchair and more personalized to Ekko's chair. And so that's a really big difference. We also knew ahead of time more what we would have time to finish within, what sort of goals were reasonable, what sort of things could be done. So we didn't end up working like 3 different tracks and then ending up using one of them. And instead we had one idea in mind, and we kind of knew how to get there.
When you guys worked on Macy's costume, it was kind of a traditional wheelchair per se, and Ekko, you guys picked one that has a motorized wheelchair with lots of extra equipment. How was that different, working with that? Did it make it easier or harder having all those extra things to deal with?
I thought one of the challenges we ran into was that Ekko has so much gear on his wheelchair, and all of it has to be accessible. So he's got oxygen tanks and pumps and monitors and all kinds of stuff. And we had to make sure that we weren't covering anything up in a sort of permanent way that would prevent his parents from accessing those as needed. But it helped a ton that we were able to spend time with him early in the process and see those things and measure everything and understand, okay, here are the places where we can put stuff, and here are the places where square, let's not put anything there. And that actually kind of informed the shape of the overall costume. Alton, for example, worked on the sides of the Pegasus horse, and in the process of doing the final install, we figured out this is going to rub on the wheel, and so we've got to add some pool noodle here in order to make sure everything doesn't rub as we're walking around.
Okay. So, Alton, how was that working? You know, did you each have a different section of the costume to work on, or is that kind of how you broke it up?
Yeah, we divided among like different parts, like the head, the framing, the wings, and the body, the sides, as I did. Yeah.
Well, hello, Ekko. Glad to see you here. I was just wanting to know, you know, Ekko and your family, you met us at the Midwest Ability Summit last year. Had you guys heard of Walkin Rollin Costumes before, or was that the first time that you had heard about us?
That was the first time we've heard about it. Yeah, last year when we met up at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
What has Ekko typically done for Halloween in the past?
Well,
Normal costume.
he's had like last year we dressed him up as Batman. Nothing really were done to his chair. Mainly just him personally. Just provide him a costume. So this will be first time ever that we're actually dressing up the power chair as well.
Good.
So Ekko, are you looking forward to taking your new ride out for Halloween in a few weeks?
If when I use I will take to outside the point that I get taking it on Halloween.
He said absolutely yes. He's very excited.
And he's going to Fort Leavenworth doing Halloween. So he was saying he's going to Fort Leavenworth.
Yes, that's what he was saying. Yeah, Fort Leavenworth. That's where we're going to be conducting our Halloween.
Yeah. So, you know, after looking at pictures, well, actually, let's start by let's take a look at the costume and some of the pictures that you guys have provided and video of the reveal. The costume looked rather large for you guys. Do you guys know how big it actually was? Do you have the dimensions?
Oh, I bet Braden could tell you exactly the dimensions, but he wasn't able to join us today. I don't know. It's probably 8 feet long. And then one thing we learned last year, you want to talk about costume width?
Sure.
Yeah, so last year, an issue we ran into after building most of the costume was we realized that in order for the costume to be able to work as a costume, it's got to be able to fit through doorways,
Yes.
And things that, a wheelchair would normally have to fit through. So this year, I think we definitely kept that in mind a lot sooner, and that was definitely a difference between last year and this year. So this costume definitely made sure it was really tight to the wheelchair. That way it could fit pretty well into a doorway without any problems. That way it's not making it less practical. It's just kind of working with the wheelchair.
It is a little bit long, but for tight corners, it's fairly modular, so a lot of parts of it can be taken off and put back on fairly easily.
And Ekko's dad, parents have you guys practiced driving it around yet to see how that works?
We haven't had a chance to yet, but
Okay.
we are going to definitely, before Halloween, we will test it up. Yeah, we actually have to do it. We're trying to see if we can fit it in his van, as a matter of fact.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Whole
Yes.
thing, Ekko's chair, everything.
Correct.
Let's see.
If it fits, we want a picture.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
If
of
it
course.
doesn't fit, we definitely want a picture.
You can fit in the
Well,
floor.
We'll definitely get you a picture, though, Glenn.
Thanks, Eric.
Ekko, do you have a favorite part of the costume that you like?
What's your favorite? Pegasus?
What was your
What is
favorite?
favorite? Pegasus, the Beyblade?
The front? To the front?
The Pegasus? You like the
The-
Pegasus?
The Pegasus?
You like it, right? Oh.
Yeah, okay.
You said the Pegasus.
Pegasus? Great.
Pegasus.
Nolan, would you like to talk about the legs and the process that we had to go through to get those working?
Yeah.
So the legs were tricky because at first we were trying to just shape it with foam, and as we went on, we found out how hard it is to kind of get a leg that looked anatomically correct, at least somewhat. And after we finally started meeting together again, we were able to put our heads together and actually realized that we could use pool noodles and kind of stick them in between each other to work almost like actual bones. And then as we were working, we were doing a lot of trying to wrap our heads around like how a horse's leg actually works, because none of us really studied anatomy.
Had a crash course on it in this costume.
We pulled up a few pictures of horse skeletons to look at.
Yeah.
That was a great idea with the pool noodles for the legs. Like that.
They work really well. In the center, the sort of bones are PVC pipe.
Right.
And then one thing we learned last year when we did the delivery of Macy's costume is that you guys use drive screws for just everything. So all over the PVC joints, we went back and screwed it all together at the places where we were sure it didn't need to come apart. And then everything's wrapped in pool noodle. And then right near where we meet, there's a Tuesday morning. And so Anne went over there and found this great blanket material that was soft and white and just exactly what we wanted. And because it was a Tuesday morning, it was on super, super discount. So basically the whole Pegasus is wrapped in 2 of these white blankets that she found. Early on when we were working on the costume, we worked separately because we weren't yet meeting because COVID was super dangerous at that time.
Right.
And so the kids worked kind of separately for several weeks on the costume. And eventually we just realized that, okay, we have to get together. We have to try to start putting all of these parts together so that we can figure out what's working and what's not working. And so that was kind of the beginning of our robotics year. And then everyone shows up with masks and, checking temperatures and using hand sanitizer and all that good stuff. Genevieve, would you like to talk a little bit about the wings and how that process worked?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. So the wings, as he said, we started with a lot of different, we each started with a different thing. So we had different ideas and different components that didn't all want to integrate perfectly. I had this idea of using either cardboard or EVA foam. It turned out to be EVA foam on the wings, and we did that first, and then I was gonna actually put EVA foam to border it to create more of a shaping to it, but we decided it was better to just go with just feathers, so I feathered the whole thing and glued layers of feathers on it. And then we had to get it stiff enough to stay up, and so we ended up doing the backbones of it with a thinner PVC, and at first it was a fairly thin, I think it was like 3/8 inch or something at first, so we did a fairly thin one, heat shaping it to go along the corners, and then that one required a really strange adapter to the larger PVC, But when Ekko first came in, we realized that if we wanted to use PVC that thin, we'd need a second attachment point to make it stand up stiff enough. So what we ended up doing is we actually ripped that PVC off and then re-glued it with a different, slightly thicker PVC. I think it was a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
And so that's the one that we actually have, and that adapter is slightly easier to manage too because it doesn't require like this hose clamp and things like that. So.
Great job. So those are actual feathers on the wings that you guys?
Yeah, they're like craft feathers. I got them at Michael's.
Nice. And Anne, great job on finding the blankets.
Thank you.
So you did it with
Got
2
lucky.
blankets? The
Yep.
whole costume with 2 blankets?
Yeah, actually a blanket and a half. They did a really good job of getting it covered, and the blanket, it really ended up being a perfect blanket. It almost feels like a horse hide, or looks like horse hide. It's not overly fluffy. It's just a nice soft white blanket. So
The other thing Anne found was these fantastic manes. So they came with like a hair clip that looked like this, and then attached to it was the tiniest little wig, and then the wig had this white hair that came off of it. So we took the little clips out and hot glued the wigs to the neck of the Pegasus, and so that's the mane. And then Anne got 2 more of them, and that's the tail that goes on the back of the Pegasus. It's a little hard to see because his parents are usually standing there, but when they're away, it kind of connects the whole thing together. Another thing that we had to work on was the way the legs are posed. And so Yassine, you want to talk about that and kind of the process that we used to figure out how to kind of set up the leg arrangement?
Sure. So like they were saying earlier, we ended up looking up the anatomy of a horse because none of us had really studied that. So we had no idea how a horse was running. We also wanted to figure out kind of what position we wanted the horse in. So we had one day where we had like a little friendly argument back and forth over how the legs of the horse are going to be positioned. And then we ended up all going and browsing through YouTube and pictures on Google. And we ended up like basically showing each other our evidence and arguing our points. And we ended up coming to the point of that the legs need to kind of diagonally need to be in the same positions. So they either need to be both tucked in or both pointing out. And that really helped us figure out how to make it look more like a horse rather than a rabbit, which was something we ran into. It looked more like a rabbit than a horse if the legs were positioned incorrectly. So
there's another key question, which is when a Pegasus is flying through the air, is the Pegasus sort of Superman flying through the air, or is the Pegasus sort of running through the air? And so we had to go refer back to the original material. We watched an episode of Beyblade in which Pegasus is seen sort of running through the air. We're like, all right, so we've got to have the legs in a more active position and not rabbit-like. Ekko could have told us that if he'd been in the meeting. It would have been obvious to him because he's an expert at Beyblade.
Awesome.
one of the other fun things I wanted to mention, and Dylan did a good job with this, and Yassine, was the horse's head that we found that Dylan ended up stuffing to make like a horse's head had the quirkiest, goofiest looking horse face on it. And we all wanted to make sure that this was a very cool Pegasus horse for Ekko. So Dylan decided to cover it up with some of the white blanket, cover up the silly face that really didn't look like the cool Pegasus we wanted. And then they found these little jewels to make the eyes so that the eyes would look much cooler than the funny looking horse face that we originally started off with.
I think the credit for finding those jewels might actually go to you, Mrs. Stafford. But yeah, the horse head was, the eyes were like, I think it was part of a Halloween costume originally, or so it was part of something. It had these, it had like eyes on the front rather than the sides, and they were like cartoon-eyed, and they had red pupils, and one was like higher than the other with the eyebrows raised. It was so weird.
You have pictures of the original head?
Probably somewhere.
We probably do. Well, if we can find them, we'll make sure to send them over.
Okay. All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on this call. We'll be returning back to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Ekko.
Bye.
I love syrup. Oh, hi. Hey, it's me. It's me, Buddy the Elf. Guess what? I've teamed up with Walkin Rollin Costumes. We're going to pay for a lot of Walkin Rollin costumes, the wheelchair costumes. It'll be so much fun. You know how we're going to do it? Video calls, one-on-one with me, Buddy the Elf. I'll send you a link, and you'll get on your computer, and we'll talk just like a video call. It'll be so much fun.
That's right. That was Buddy the Elf, and he's calling straight from his workshop at the North Pole. And what we are doing, we are partnering with him to help raise more funds to build more costumes for kids in wheelchairs.
That's right.
And the way that it works is if you donate $20, you can book a time for Buddy to make a video conference call with you, your family members, your child, anyone that would like to have a one-on-one talk with Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
He will be making the calls between the end of November to the first couple weeks in December.
Yeah.
And he will schedule the time with you so that you know when to be ready on your computer and have a one-on-one call with him. And of course, yes, you can record the entire call so you can play it back as often as you'd like.
Yes.
Here's more details on what it would be, what the call would be like, and how it all works.
Sometimes Captain Crunch, even for dinner.
You ever put syrup on your Captain Crunch?
No.
Oh, you should. It's good on everything. It's good on Captain Crunch. It's good on spaghetti. Pop-Tarts. You ever eat a Pop-Tart?
Yes.
I just mix it all up good together. It's all wonderful. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. You should know that. You're a kid. How old are you?
7.
7? Papa's 547. I'm only about 35, but I'm a human. But it's nice to meet another human who shares my affinity for elf culture.
So that's how it works. It's very simple. And if you'd like to book your call now, go to www.walkinrollin.org/VP 2020 for Virtual Party 2020. When you get there, there's an icon for booking your call with Buddy the Elf. Do it now. There are limited spots available. He can't make calls all the time because he's got to do a lot of work for Santa's workshop. So there's a limited number of calls that you can get this. So book it now. All right. Thank you very much. Remember, all donations go to help build more costumes for kids in wheelchairs. Thank you.
We can talk about your birthday, or we can talk about Halloween or Thanksgiving, or your dog or your cat. Or Christmas. We could talk about Christmas. There's so much to do to get ready for Christmas. Oh my gosh. Santa's coming. There's so many toys to make. Oh my gosh, I've got to get going. Oh, hey, book your call. Video one-on-one with Buddy the Elf now. Bye.
Well, thank you, Buddy, for that great opportunity for everyone. Tonight, we are also being sponsored by the Polsky Family Charitable Foundation. This is the second episode that they have sponsored. Tonight, they are sponsoring a $2,500 matching donation. So every donation that you make to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party for the next 24 hours will be matched by the Polsky Family Charitable Foundation. So please, you can use that if you want to make a monetary donation, if you want to book a video call with Buddy the Elf, that counts. Getting a t-shirt or raffle tickets, all of that counts towards the $2,500 matching donation from the Polsky Family Charitable Foundation. So thank you very much for sponsoring this episode.
Last night, I asked a trivia question, and someone actually answered it in the episode. And the person that answered it is Janet Weiscarver. So she has won a free 2020 Walkin Rollin Costumes t-shirt. So let's see the trivia question. The answer to the last trivia question, what was the costume that we built based off of a game show? The answer was Wheel of Fortune.
Here at Walkin Rollin Costumes, we build costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs free of charge to the families. And in order to do that, we need your help. To keep these costumes free, we are always in need of donations and sponsorships to help fund the costumes and the supplies used to build them. So for the virtual party, we are offering some different opportunities for you as viewers to get something for your donation. So the first of which is the Buddy the Elf video conference call. You can schedule a 3-minute conference call with Buddy the Elf and schedule it with your child or anyone. You can record the call and be able to relive that moment over and over with your child. The next option is the Raffle Prizes. We are offering 6 different items as part of the raffle. And if you go to our website at www.walkinrollin.org/VP2020 for Virtual Party 2020, you can find the raffle prizes and see which ones you'd like to purchase tickets for in order to try and win one of the raffle items. The third option is to purchase one of our t-shirts that we have done for the past 4 years. And the 3 years prior to this, those shirts are being sold for $15, and we are limited to the number of sizes that we have available. So order quickly. The new shirt for 2020 was designed by John Nell, a local artist here in Kansas City, and it was voted by you, the fans, as the favorite choice for the design for the 2020 t-shirt. You can purchase that online through October 31st. There's no limit to the number that you can order on that one or which sizes. We will not print them until after October 31st. So order as many as you'd like. Those are being sold for $25 a piece, and all the t-shirts will be shipped free of charge to you. If you would like to reserve a call with Buddy the Elf, purchase raffle tickets, or purchase a t-shirt from Walkin Rollin Costumes, visit our website at walkinrollin.org/VP2020. Again, thank you for helping sponsor and donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes to help make all these costumes free for the families. Thank you.
Hey everybody out there in internet land, I am Uncle Bobby, just Twisted Halloween's friend, that's all. Just want to let you know that even though Twisted does not have a physical location this year, you can still shop Twisted Halloween online. It's twistedhalloweenkc.com. When you do, use the promo code WRC2020VP. This will save you 10% and it will donate 10% of your sale back to Walkin Rollin. Please follow us, like us. Thank you for supporting Walkin Rollin and this small business. It's you that's the true superhero.
2020 has changed the way we do many things. Shopping is one of them. This holiday season, if you're going to do a bit more online shopping, why not support Walkin Rollin Costumes at the same time? All you need to do is go to smile.amazon.com, select Walkin Rollin Costumes as your charity, and shop like you normally do. You can even enable Amazon Smile to donate when you make a purchase from the app on your mobile device. Give yourself a smile every time you make a purchase, knowing you've just helped build an amazing costume for an amazing kid.
And another way you can donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes is donate by phone. Text WRC 2020 VP to the number 707070. And that will pull up a page and it will say how much you want to donate and if you want it to be a one-time donation or a monthly donation. Now, I've asked a trivia question every night for the past few episodes, and if you didn't get a chance to answer it, well, now's your chance, because here's another one. To whoever answers this Walkin Rollin Costumes trivia question first in the comments below. What was the first costume of a location, not a character or mode of transportation? The first person to answer the question correctly in the comments below wins a free 2020 Walkin Rollin Costumes t-shirt. Good luck! Welcome to another sneak peek of the Walkin Rollin Costumes Virtual Party 2020. This costume will be revealed on the final episode of the virtual party, and right now we have made these and they light up to something.
Change colors.
How many of those are going to be in the costume?
At least 4.
At least 4. All right. Sounds good. Any guesses on what the costume's going to be?
I don't know.
Oh. All right, so if you want to help build costumes for any kids that are on our waiting list, simply go to walkinrollin.org/kids. And this will give you a page that talks about all the different kids that have put in requests and what it is that they're looking for. The top of the page, you'll see the United States map, has pins on the map showing where they are located on the map. And then you can also make sponsorship donations to either just a general donation, or you can donate to specific costumes that are in the process of being built. And you can see those there, and it'll give you a little guide showing you how far along they are to getting it fully funded.
And those four are actually being built or have already been revealed.
Yep,
during
those
the
are
virtual
all
party.
for the virtual party. Now, I think that about wraps up tonight's episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. So we would like to thank Sci-Fi for Me. If you go to sci-fi4me.tv, you can see all the different content that they produce on a daily, weekly basis. They have been producing this series for us, so thank you very much to them, and Jason Hunt for being the guy behind the camera. And so if you'd like to reach any of us here at Walkin Rollin Costumes, you can find us at our website, walkinrollin.org. You can also catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Vero. And then our YouTube page also has all of the training videos showing how we build some of our costumes, has reveal videos, and as well as all the episodes that you see on the virtual party. And then our Pinterest page has all of our sketches of costumes we've never built, as well as completed photos of all the costumes. So you can see them all on our Pinterest page. We would also like to thank the following people who helped with this individual episode: Chris Rood, Ekko and his family, Glenn Crocker, and the entire FTC 6547 Cobalt Colts team for building Ekko's Beyblades costume. And of course, our sponsor, the Norman and Elaine Polsky Family Charitable Foundation. And remember that they are donating a $2,500 matching donation for any money that is raised in the next 24 hours. And then we would also like to thank Jason Hunt with Sci-Fi for Me for producing the video, Chris Hunt for editing and interviewing, Twisted Halloween for their promotion, Buddy the Elf, if you'd like to get a video conference call with Buddy the Elf, be sure and do that, John Nell for designing our 2020 virtual party t-shirt, and thanks to the Davis family for everything that they sacrifice. I'm sorry, did I say? I said Chris Hunt. I meant Chris Rood for editing and interviewing. Thank you. And let's see, oh, we also want to talk about tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode is all about cosplayers and how they help. It's a really fun episode. I think you're really going to like it. You want to come back for that, and that's going to be sponsored by Vero. So be sure and check that out tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And then also be sure and go to walkinrollin.org/VP 2020 to reserve your conference call with Buddy the Elf, to order raffle prizes or raffle tickets for the prizes, and to order t-shirts. So that is pretty much it. Yeah. You want to do the closing for us? Again, my name is Lon Davis.
And I'm Reese Davis. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and keep rolling from home.
Bye, everybody.
I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school, or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume, or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.